indicates something about the type of surrender that is there in Bhakti Lalita. She was directly the servant of Srila Govinda Maharaj for how long, 20 years or something? Yeah, because Gurudev was with us from as Acharya from 87 to 2010, right? So that means 23 years. When did you come on board? Around then, at the beginning?
91.
91, okay. So then, 19 years, 20 years, give it. Yeah, so directly with Srila Gurudev. So, and hearing and imbibing the transcendental sound coming from the lotus mouth of a real Paramhansa Vaishnava. I mean, what kind of fortune is that, to be there directly, constantly with him? I mean, looking back, I wish that, I had the vision or the chance somehow or other. It wasn't possible for me. But, again, it's not only somehow or other, but by dint of her sincerity, she was there with Gurudev for a very long time. And so we honor her and love her and welcome all you, and we'll let Bhakti Lalita take over. Srila Bhakti Lalita, Srimati.
Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ji
Ki Jai.
Jai Om London Bhakta Vrinda Ki
Jai.
So let me first give credit to give it to its rightful place. And our Srila Gurudev causelessly attracted our hearts by his mercy and gave us everything. Even though we are unfit and unqualified, unworthy, he saw our potential and overlooked our faults, our shortcomings, and extracted service from us, regardless if we were fit or not. And we were not. We, meaning myself, I'm talking about myself. And he saw that at a young age I had enough of this material world and was ready to embrace a life of service. Just kind of giving some explanation for what Maharaj introduced, what he thrusted upon you all. I turned 21 in India. I remember being there on my 21st birthday.
Around the same time I joined, in life.
Yeah. And my very first meeting with Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj was in Navadvip. And I arrived into Calcutta. Our scientist, Prabhu Krishnananda from South India, met me at the airport and brought me to Dum Dum Park, and then Madhusudan Maharaj took me up to Navadvip on the bus.
Wow.
And it was my very first experience in India. And Madhusudan Maharaj, he's very safari, adventure-oriented. He's like, if you want breakfast, you got to put your arm out the window and just grab something and throw money in. We arrived at the front gates of the Navadvip Chaitanya Saraswat Math, and a big flood had just flooded the Math and was receding down to just an inch on the floor, ground level. And that flood was especially large, where they had to bring the deities to the upper tier of the mandir, which I've never seen before. And so as we were entering the Math, the deities were being carried down from upstairs, being put on their singhasan, and Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj was standing and overseeing that they're properly being placed on their altar, on their singhasan. And that was the first time entering the Math, seeing Srila Gurudev, their lordships, being in Navadvip town. And he called me after that function to come and see him. The new guest arrived. And I was brought in, and whoever brought me left, and it was the two of us. And he wanted to know straight away, what's your intention? He asked me, do you plan to marry? Or are you planning, would you like to live an exclusive service life? And I said, exclusive service life.
Wow.
And he said, good, because if you give birth, you will have to take birth. He gave me my first lesson in karma. And then soon my initiation came. And that time I was wearing a white sari with a colored border, because, I didn't know what else to wear, and all these colored saris, I didn't feel very, it was for me. And Srila Gurudev commented, actually you're a brahmacharini, and saffron is your color, but that has not been established in the Sampradaya, and referenced Madhavi Devi, Orisin Mahaprabhu's devotee, that some indication she was living a type of a brahmachari lifestyle. He remembered her, and he said, let me meditate on this, and I will think how to give you saffron cloth. And he wanted some references, some ammunition if some challenge would come. And he scanned the scriptures and said, basically, my argument is that what is needed according to time, place, circumstance, what would be suitable for your devotional life and your protection, like an asbestos suit, that should be provided for my disciple. So he chose Vishnu Priya Devi's appearance day, and that's Mahaprabhu's first wife. On her day, that he would give this saffron cloth. So I had previously received Harinam initiation from him, and the name Lalita Devi Dasi. Then second initiation from him. Then the saffron came, and he added the title Bhakti before my name. So that was his mercy. It was a revolutionary adjustment on his side to do what would be protective and suitable for my devotional life, and for any woman who wanted to embrace this life and live like that. Now we see Vishakha DD and Sudevi. There's three of us in the mission serving like this.
What year was that, Devi?
The saffron came in 95.
Wow. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Right.
And some challenge did come to him. So it came in the form of a letter, and he responded with all his idea on the subject, his references of the scriptures, mentioning the asbestos suit protecting the disciple from the ill feelings of the environment, and gives a boon at the end, like an old sage would give a boon. Anyone who can respect and honor this, they will swiftly cross over the ocean of material existence. And we've published that letter. It's available online, sometimes referring back to that. But that's how that happened. It was merciful dispensation and giving equal opportunity for service. And we saw how much our Srila Gurudev had faith in his daughters in the ladies section of the Mat, and supported us and brought us forward and empowered us to serve and not hesitate. So it's wonderful to be back with all of you, and my great fortune that Sri Padnyashi Maharaj is here at the same time. And Devashish Prabhu is the actual Vaishnava whose order it was that I come here, and repeatedly invited me, and I repeatedly shied away. But this last time I couldn't refuse, and I couldn't dodge this invitation. And why should I? Because such a beautiful community of devotees, 2 temples, God brothers, God sisters, their lordships, all here. And this is also my home, wherever my God brothers and God sisters are, and our senior worshipable devotees, and the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat that is our home. So the devotees, wherever we go, we feel at home with our devotees. In our Gurudev's home, the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And I traveled with our Srila Gurudev many times, and we always stayed at Green Street and talk about this new temple we need, and it should be near Heathrow, and when will it ever happen? And we see, couldn't get more closer to Heathrow. A couple 100 yards away, the runway is right before us, and this temple has manifested in such a beautiful way. His wish has been fulfilled, while Green Street Chaitanya Saraswat Mat still continues under the care of Devashish Prabhu, both simultaneously thriving and flourishing. And it's for sure Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj are smiling down upon you all to see you're here, you're still doing it. The flag is flying high in 2 locations, and that is very glorious. I'm presently based in Chiang Mai, Thailand. We have an ashram there that also has a digital media studio, and Srila Avadut Maharaj's company, which produces 360 Dome Cinema, and many of our devotees are employed there. And it's not an ordinary company, because it's Avadut Maharaj's company, and the end result and vision for that company is that they would produce a Vedic planetarium, which is now happening. And it's portable, traveling, and content is being made slowly, but first the hardware, the software, the construction all had to be made, and so now at this stage the Vedic side of it is all manifesting. And I help sometimes with voice and some of the projects going on there. And Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj is residing there, based there, trying to retire there, but still very active with his 3 times a week plus holiday classes online, and for all of us living there, and finding what an amazing reach we are having just from one little location, broadcasting all over the internet, reaching people all over the world who are hungry for reality. Reality, the beautiful. So I feel very fortunate to be a part of that and to have such great association year-round and traveling time to time with hopes of being an instrument, a service, a form of service offering, giving myself anything I've heard, or anything I've learned. I'm eager to share that. I get to hear from Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj regularly, and when I have questions, we can knock on his door, and it's always so insightful and so nourishing. And we learn many things from him. Everyone does, all over the world. About reality, Goswami Maharaj told us the story once how a group of devotees from Mayapur, from Chandradoy Mandir, ISKCON, came to Srila Sridhar Maharaj and always asked so many questions. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj one day posed a question to all of them. And he said, "What is Krishna consciousness? Please tell me. What does it mean to you, and what is it actually?" And the assembled group, suggesting answers, one devotee said, "What Prabhupada told us." And another one said, "Bhakti." And another one gave an answer. And he listened to the various responses from the group. Then he answered his own question. And he said, "Krishna consciousness is reality. And it's within your own interest to become acquainted with that reality. It's not anything but that." And devotees sometimes would ask him, "What is my service? I come here to do something. I can cut vegetables, I can sweep, I can clean the gutters, wash the temple." He would often say, "Your service is to acquire the proper angle of vision. That will be your focus. And the best thing you can do is first have the right vision, have the right consciousness, the right angle of vision. Become acquainted with reality, which is beautiful. It's not a religion, not a sect, not a cult, not a section of esoteric philosophy and ontology for only the intelligentsia of the world, but it's reality, and it's beautiful. I saw on the door, Panditas organized this program today. They gave me the topic, absolute harmony.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. And such a diverse society, so many different kinds of instruments, so many different kinds of devotees, a plurality of gurus, so much variety. Srila Sridhar Maharaj spoke on how to find absolute harmony within everything, within all of that and everything on an absolute level. And there was a book published in Australia many years ago called Absolute Harmony, just from, I believe, 2 lectures of Srila Sridhar Maharaj that were transcribed. Now that book has gone out of print, but has been included in Centenary Anthology. It's, I believe, chapter 13 and 14, which is a book that was compiled from books that were out of print from Srila Sridhar Maharaj's talks. Then one devotee is asking Srila Sridhar Maharaj questions, how to go on in the face of, this is Kali Yuga, it's the material world, there's so many differences amongst, even within Krishna conception and different devotees. And in this one talk he said, try to find the common ground, the common interest, and focus on that, because that is infinite. That in itself we all have that in common, and we can all find unity, we can all find harmony within that, the central conception of divinity. And that is Krishna consciousness. Everywhere center, nowhere circumference. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj quoting one German religious person, I forgot his name. It's a quote from a German philosopher, theologian. Everywhere is center. He liked that quote. No, nothing is outside of the absolute center, and we're all a part of that. We're all part and parcels of the infinite, and there's room to accommodate everyone and all differences within that center. Like an organic whole, we are all part of that infinite organic whole, the Supreme Lord Krishna. And our duty is to serve for the good of the whole. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, known for his use of analogy, gave an analogy inside of an analogy, and the choir, the orchestra. He said, you'll see so many instruments, so many voices from different strata, all being tuned into the conductor, into the melody, and making a sweet sound. All varieties coming together into one central point. So like that, all the parts and parcels, we all have our place within that center, within Krishna. And where everyone and everything can be accommodated. He says, by tolerance, harmony increases, and it's all accommodating, where there's room for all kinds and everybody. And he said, like the planets, all moving, the moon is moving around the earth, and all the planets are moving around the sun. So many different planets, so many varieties of planets, all harmonized in their orbit around the sun. And putting food into the mouth, to the stomach, and the whole body is nourished. And watering the root of the tree, and the whole tree is fed. These are analogies of Srila Sridhar Maharaj to illustrate this idea of absolute harmony and how that works within the universe, within the infinite. And we're all part of that. In another lecture, one of my favorite ideas of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, of harmonizing with someone that maybe it's hard to find something good about someone, but there is always something good. And you might have to ignore the apparent side and mark the bright side, he said. mark the bright side in someone. And everyone has that bright side. And ignore the apparent side. And if necessary, look to the swarup of that person, their inner tendency of devotion towards the Lord, and appreciate that. Appreciate that we're all parts and parcels of the infinite, and that can always be appreciated. And make the best of a bad bargain. We can always do that in whatever situation we might be in. Make the best of it. See the Lord in the background, the friendly hand of the infinite behind, bringing us good news and upliftment and teachings and purifying us. We were discussing this last night or this morning, that tate nukampam shushamikshumano, with a deep self-analysis we can see that we're being purified, and it's all being sped up by the grace of the Guru, the Vaishnavas, and the Lord. Instead of it taking infinite lifetimes to clear, it's all coming at once. And we're taking responsibility for it. We're embracing it and facing our previous karma and being released. And thankfully being released. Feeling this is the benevolence of the Lord who's brought this all to me at once, instead of dragging it on lifetime after lifetime. So that positive angle of vision and becoming acquainted with reality is a very exciting prospect. And it's for all of us. And we're so blessed and so fortunate if we can even endeavor in a small way in our lifetimes for this pursuit of absolute harmony. Keeping our lives simple so we can devote and dedicate ourselves to this pursuit as much as possible. So we must always look to our founder, Acharya, for his unique insight and teachings and conceptions, his books, his words. Our Srila Gurudev was his divine servitor, and especially in the first part of his acharyaship, he was everything he'd say. We had Srila Guru Maharaj's name mentioned, and very much connected and keeping close hold on his lotus feet, on his journeys, in his talks, in his disposition. The divine servitor of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhardev Goswami Maharaj, and always referring to him. So this is also our wealth. In the family of the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, we have the wealth of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj, our Gurudev, said anyone in this line of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, even present day disciples of our present acharyas, anyone in this family of the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat is so fortunate to have Srila Sridhar Maharaj's lineage connection, and that is taking us all the way to Goloka Vrindavan in the service of Radharani under guidance of Lalita Devi and Rupa Manjari. That's our divine prospect that's waiting for all of us, and it's a specialized line in this way. We can't conceive of that so easily, but that is above our heads. That is our bright future awaiting us. We have that service connection, and all the things we do every day in our devotional life and our practices are nurturing this divine prospect, this pursuit, bringing us closer. And even in our present day circumstances, we may feel bereft without our Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. But he's left us in the care of his devotees and followers, and he is above our heads, our divine guardian who's always with us. And gave us more than we need to continue with the right conception. And number one, he always said, the very first thing I learned and should never be forgotten is never make Vaishnava aparad. Don't commit Vaishnava aparad. Don't criticize the devotees. Number one. That's the first lesson. And he taught us by example. That is our first lesson, and the one thing we should never do. We can see the bright side in everyone. We can harmonize with everybody and see there's room for all kinds within this divine family of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Bhakti Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. And see that common ground, and every day endeavor to make this harmony and appreciate it within our minds, within our thoughts, within our actions. And in this way, be good disciples of Srila Guru, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Tending to the garden of the heart, and always keeping intact the purity of our purpose. We've come for love, we've come for faith, we've come for service, leaving everything behind for this divine pursuit. And never trying to disturb anyone's faith in whichever way it may develop, in whichever way it may manifest. Nurturing everyone's faith. So there's so much beauty to focus on. And if we can keep our focus on these beautiful, inspiring, harmonious, divine things, everything else takes a back position, becomes water under the bridge. Focused on that proper angle of vision, on reality, the beautiful, and the glories of Guru, Vaishnava, and Hari Katha and Sankirtan. Focus there and let everything else go in its own way. Does anyone have any comments from our senior section? Any corrections?
I just think it was so beautiful, Dee, to think of the idea of seeing the golden self in everyone. And there's just, even just to try that is so freeing, because otherwise the mind is just picking things apart all the time. And if you really try to see the golden side of people, if we can actually do that, we'll be free. And it's just a matter of trying and remembering, and of course we'll have to develop in our our own purity of vision, but still, just to try to see like that, you get a different perspective on how things are. That everyone is with you, going for the same goal, and it doesn't matter all this other stuff. This other stuff is just, it's part of the dream, right? And I see it like that. That we're trying to wake up, and we've got a dream going on, which isn't, that important, and we have to just, see those who are trying to be awake and see their desire to be awake, and not be too concerned with other things, because it's just part of the illusion. And when I can remember that, the experience is just so freeing.
Srila Sridhar Maharaj's exact words: mark the bright side and ignore the apparent side when necessary. In brackets, I'm saying it, when necessary.
Apparent side.
The apparent, what's apparently
what's apparently real.
Yeah. What apparently might be on the surface. Go to the spirit and the bright side in someone.
And to think that a personality like that, who can see like that, is there with us.
He's our grandfather.
How inconceivable it is that he has that, he sees gold in us, whatever, however teeny it is, they see it. And that's what they want. They want to see us grow with that. They want what's best for us, whether they embrace us or hammer us, right? Yeah.
And Srila Gurudev had expressions like, don't be a drain inspector. I am not a drain inspector. I'm here to see the beauty and the grace and the bright side, the inspired side in each and every person and everything. I'm very thankful to Devashish Prabhu for bringing me here and allowing me to have all of your association. I'm here till the 18th and visiting both temples here and in Green Street and attending the daily programs and always available to see devotees and friends and to be of any assistance, any encouragement. That was my guru-given duty, my one instruction from Srila Gurudev. Encourage the devotees.
Wow.
Doesn't matter where you stay or anything else, just encourage the devotees. So that's my duty, and I'm happily trying to carry that out in any way I can. So while I'm here, I hope to be very useful. And tomorrow we'll be in Green Street.
Sunday feast.
Programs there. The regular Sunday feast. And we have some events planned while I'm here, and you can check with Devashish Prabhu and Saraswati. And from here we'll go to our Veda Life Festival in Ukraine, where Krishna consciousness is exploding. And many young boys and girls are giving their lives happily, looking for something higher, something better and worth living. They're coming in touch with our devotees and our mission, and embracing it. And it's very exciting to see such necessity in a large group of young, able-bodied, sincere group of people. And I live in Chiang Mai mostly with Ukrainians and Russians and a few Chinese devotees. And I was telling Pandita today, the Russian and Ukrainian devotees and people from that like ex-Soviet part of the world, they're very strong internally. And I get inspired to see their strength and not easily shaken by anything, not traumatized by anything generally. Very hardworking, waking up early, going to bed late, sometimes not sleeping and not complaining, and really seeing that this is their chance to serve, and they're happy to work hard and give their 100%. And to be around people like this is contagious, or at least it inspires me to be better and to work a little harder and be a little less lazy, and to try to utilize every day like it could be the last. We never know when that day will come. So not to be complacent. So I learned from the young girls and boys from Russia and Ukraine many things. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah, I'm saying so many Russian devotees come every Gaur Purnima with Avadut Maharaj, you know, and they're lovely. As you say, they work hard, they're always they're lovely. That's all I can say, and I always love to see them every year. They're wonderful. I don't have to do it. That's it. I'm just in praise of the Russian devotees. That's it.
And maybe we have some here.
They're lovely.
They have a Latvian.
He's Latvian. That's ex-Soviet.
Of Russian origin, though.
And what's his name? Where the motor's son from? Ishan.
Ishan,
is Latvian also. Yeah.
I don't know what our timing is, but I had an idea and a question, kind of.
Yeah.
In Krishna consciousness movement, generally, there's kind of a whole controversy that's going on in terms of women's liberation. And I was just thinking that really your position given by Srila Govinda Maharaj is the answer to all that. It really is. That all these different things about position and placement within our particular situation in the material world, up and down, all these different things, is like completely kind of like wiped away by the presence of an example of internal reality, right? Something like that. Can you expand on that?
Well, I just know from our Srila Gurudev's his heart, his all-accommodating heart, bringing us all in and not discriminating too much about male and female, and seeing us all. He would say many things like, "You're all lotus flowers for the offering of my Guru and Gauranga. And it doesn't matter male or female, you're all offering materials," and saying like, it's from the Western world, we're growing out of the mud, out of the dirt and the filth, and into these beautiful lotus offerings for the Lord. And at the same time, he was very accommodating to his daughters in the ladies section, seeing our dedication, our mood of service, our eagerness to serve, and bringing us forward for responsible services in the mission. feeling like whoever can play football, the ball will go to their feet. And that may be women.
He considered the ladies superior. He said that, I was there.
Yeah.
He said it many times, actually, that the women, the ladies are actually, he's seen, actually I've seen, they are, you know, naturally dedicated. And, you know, they're the best of my devotees.
In his own horoscope, his daughters take primary importance in relationship. He said, I have so many good daughters that I can trust fully. Not so many good sons.
Yeah, he said in my horoscope, it said, I will get trouble from my sons, but not from my daughters.
So he was very much ladies first, come forward and serve according to your capacity and empowering everyone. And I never felt like I needed to fight for my women's rights. I always felt so much honor, too much honor is coming to me. Too much position is coming to me as not as a woman, but as a servitor, as an aspiring devotee. I never felt like I was being suppressed or oppressed or put in a secondary position, but given more than equal opportunity, given the preference are lady devotees. So we've always been fully facilitated and never needed to go on any movements for our rights. We've always been flooded with full rights and full love and full affection and support and accommodation. Never felt any lacking. So we're very fortunate, and our Srila Gurudev is like that, our Srila Sridhar Maharaj is like that, Saraswati Thakur is like that. It's natural. Some subtle points are there within Vaishnava etiquette, and there's that pastime when the auntie of Srila Sridhar Maharaj noticed little hesitation towards the ladies section in Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and teaching him, we're all parts of Lakshmi, Lakshmi Gan, expansions of Lakshmi, and have respect for the women. And that was a real significant moment in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's life, and affected his outlook on women, and gave shelter to the very exalted women in our mission, in the Chaitanya Saraswat Ma, like Rama Pishima and Thakur Ma and Krishna Shankari. So I think in the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, that type of movement, we've never...
It's not even...
It's never been a necessity.
Yeah, it's not even a factor, right?
Never an issue.
It was like that in the time of Srila Prabhupada also, in ISKCON. He said the ladies are Lakshmi. And he had, much protection, even though in his books things are written. But all that is on the, has to do with just mundane things. And it doesn't have to do with spiritual reality. And, that was what was present when Srila Prabhupada was here, and that's what we felt. So there was like there was no question of anything like that. But in the absence of Srila Prabhupada, in the absence of guidance, then things pop up like that. Hopefully we'll maintain the consciousness of, but it's there in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati by higher grace. I guess if we meditate on the grace of our predecessor gurus, we'll always be safe.
And what we deserve comes to us, doesn't it?
Indeed.
What honor, what respect, what position may come, that's the grace of the Lord coming in a way that is meant for us. So we have no argument, we have no complaint. And what's coming to us is more than enough. So we're so blessed, so accommodated and full of everything we need for our prospect in this line. Jai Saparikash Shri Guru Gauranga Giridhari Radha Giridhari Ji Ki
Jai.
Om Vishnu Vajra Bhakti Sindar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Om Vishnu Vajra Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Shri Rupananda Guru Var Ki
Jai.
Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mata Charja Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki
Jai.
Om Vishnupad Vishwaringa Shilesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Hari
Jai.
Jai Shri Padnyashi Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Devashish Prabhu Ki
Jai.
All the assembled devotees Ki
Jai.
All the world devotees Ki
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan Ki
Jai.
Jai Gaur Premanande
Jai. Shri Yukta Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Oh, thanks.
Clean.
More proof. What's going on with RT?
Is it arty now?
Yeah.
I heard them.
Okay, let's get everything picked
doing
up.
Yoga arati. I think they did the Boga arati outside.
Maybe.
I heard it.
You talk. Thank you, Prabhu.